Hi, how are you? My name's Catherine Nolan. You can call me Cass, and I will be your facilitator, your lecturer, and for some of you at least, your tutor in legal considerations of artificial intelligence, big data, and blockchain this semester. So a little bit about me to start off with. I am a lawyer. Sorry about that. No business person ever has started the day thinking, yay, I'm going to have a great day today. I'm going to spend it with a lawyer. And I'm saying it like that because there's a small percentage of you in this course who will be law students, and that's what you want to do. And actually, it's a great thing to do. I've had a fantastic career and I've really enjoyed almost every day of my life as a lawyer. But I get it that those of you who are business students, particularly those who are doing a minor that requires you to do this course, you might be thinking, what do I need to know about the law? I'm interested in technology. I'm interested in entrepreneurship. I'm interested in the way businesses work. I don't want to do this subject about compliance and legal issues. I want to get on with it. So my goal is to make you as excited and as interested in legal issues, being able to identify them and work out whether they're legal issues or whether they're commercial issues, and making good decisions about how to deal with them as I possibly can. We've run this course a couple of times. This is the third time I've been involved in it. And this time around, we're changing it up a little bit. It was initially designed probably more with the law students in mind, where we were going through each week looking at the different technologies and then thinking about how laws that it was almost assumed you already knew about would apply. And instead now we kind of flipped that around, and instead, as you will see from looking at the syllabus here, after some introductory work where we get some of the key terminology and issues up front with the law, and then some overview issues around the technology in your heads, then we're going to really look each week at a particular type of legal consideration and see how it applies in some cases to all three: artificial intelligence, big data, and blockchain. And sometimes we'll go a little bit deeper again and really focus on one of those technologies, or applications using those technologies instead. So what I like to do, sorry, that's I really should have a script for these things, shouldn't I? I want to spend a little bit of time showing you how Canvas works, because it could be a little bit overwhelming, and I'm really hoping that you're watching this before you go in there and start pulling your hair out. What I've tried to do is put as much information into the Canvas shell as possible so that you don't have to be looking all over the place to try and find where the law is or what it is that you need to do. But as a consequence, there is a lot of material in the Canvas shell. So when you come in, clearly we've got all of this. My guess is you've hit on this button already, and that's how you found this video. Most of you will want to go to assessment very quickly. I'm going to leave that to the end of this video, and you can find out more about me by hitting the teaching team button. But from here we can go basically into the modules. Another way of doing that would have been to hit this module button here. Now I'm just going to squeeze up to the top and collapse all of these for the moment so you can see that essentially each week already available to you, and all I'll be doing is adding the lecture material as we go. But effectively each week what you'll find is a lot of material. Look at that. Goodness me, absolutely frightening. But it's not, I promise you. It's really well organised, and it's really been put together with you in mind. And once you get out of this kind of contents page, you'll find that what you'll be doing is you'll have quite a clear set of guidance about what we're going to be doing. So each week we'll start with what are you doing this week, sort of an overview page. Each of them will have a table like this on it that'll tell us what you need to do before you get there. And then it'll say what you'll be doing in the workshop at a very high level. Workshop is fancy word for tutorial if you ask me, and then what you'll be expected to do afterwards. And again, some of this will be repeated as we go forward. Each time before the workshop, the workshop, what I've done is I've broken up each section into activities. So the idea is that as you're preparing, actually, rather than have no idea how long something is going to take, each kind of activity is designed to be a kind of standalone thing. So what I've done, so if we go back to the modules and you see activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, activity 4, and each of them are provided with some reading, maybe an activity. I'm hoping, for example, that you will join the initial discussion and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here. Again, a little bit more reading. And for most of the activities that I've built throughout this canvas, there's a little 3-question quiz that gives you an opportunity to check your understanding. Pretty basic. Some of you might think, look, I already know quite a lot, particularly the law students early on. You might think, I already know a lot about jurisdiction and the difference between public international law and jurisdiction. So you might just jump ahead and go and do the quiz and see, yeah, I could possibly skip that or not prioritize it as much. But mostly you'll find that there are, as we work through here, you'll find all of the materials are in here. Now, some of you, if it's hyperlinked, unless I specifically say, please read it, you'll find that it's really there just as an opportunity for you to go deeper if it becomes relevant. I've also tried to put in some of these little funky diagrams and things like that to just reinforce your learning. So again, it's not as overwhelming as it looks. So here we go. As always, all of the usual materials at the beginning that will help you identify policies, guidelines, things like that. Spot to put general queries in. All of this stuff that's pretty similar in all of your shells, that will be the same. And then we work through week by week. And what you will find is somewhere where just before it says during the workshop, the week that the lectures are released, you will find that in that space there will be an activity number X. So for that week it's whatever. So this in week 1 will be activity number 5, watch the lectures, but sometimes it'll be activity number 2 if there's only one activity. It just depends on how much there is. Okay, so the next thing, and the thing I know that you're really interested in, wanting to know, okay, what are the assignments? So we've got 3 assignments, which is not unusual. We've got one that's due fairly early on. We've got one due towards the end and one after the course finishes. Probably the best way to see how they fit together is to look at our overall syllabus here on the syllabus page. Who would have thunk it? So end of week 5, you're going to do your legal risk assessment. Then there'll be a training package assessment, and there will be a research report and a presentation at the very end. The legal risk assessment is effectively asking you to make an assessment and allocate risks to it to identify where the legal risks are and where there are commercial risks. I'll talk a lot more about that in the first lecture, which I have yet to prepare. So again, looking at the weightings for the assignment, the first one is quite small, only 15%. Then you've got a 35%, and then your final assignment is 50% of your overall grade. They're practical assessments. They reflect the kind of work that people do in practice in this area. And I think you'll have a lot of fun. They'll be actually quite interesting to do. That's all I can think about that I really want to point out to you at the moment. As for other ways to succeed and do well in this course, keep your ear to the ground. look at the news, think about what's happening with these emerging technologies and the impact that they're having on the way that laws are being made, the way that businesses are making decisions about their contracts or their relationships or otherwise. You'll find there is material in the news all the time. This week, the week that I'm recording this, there's been a lot of news about the difficulties that some schools are having with kids using artificial intelligence to create nude videos of their classmates, and what the impact of that is on those classmates, the victims of that kind of activity. Frankly, I don't think there's enough discussion on how that impacts the young men that are involved as well. It's predominantly women who are the victims of this, but the young men who are exposed to that as well. I think it's just a really fraught and difficult situation, and we're in a situation where it's relatively easy to do. It is quite clear that it has a massive negative impact, but it is really hard to use laws or even technology to stop it from happening, creating this massive legal and ethical issue. And we need to think about, well, who is responsible when that kind of harm is done, particularly if that kind of harm is done by a child to another child. So many interesting issues that we're going to be exploring over the next 12 weeks. I can't wait to hear what you think, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with you. Thanks very much. Cheers.